Yeah, go live. Okay, hold on. Okay, folks. I just read a really interesting article in the Willamette paper here in Portland, Oregon. And it has to do with all the homeless funds that are available that they have $159 million. This is not counting. This is money that is state appropriated. This is not counting the money that Biden gave each state. That nobody is talking about that. Okay, Biden gave each state multi-millions of dollars to help the homeless vets, the homeless disabled, and the homeless elderly. And I've been watching all these years, all this homeless money that's been available to Portland, Oregon, and what they've been doing with this homeless funds. That's why the homeless problem is so bad. None of the money was used to actually put anybody into housing. It was mostly used for salaries, offices, furniture, computer equipment, and all of that kind of tripe for these organizations who claim they support the homeless. And what's really going on here is the homeless funds are supporting them. Okay, that's what's really going on. And the Willamette Week has a story in it about Portland and its failings and so forth and so on. Portland used to be a great city to live in. I mean, until all of this stuff happened after the presidency changed, I noticed all this stuff started happening. And, the thing is the money that was meant to give to builders to build housing for the homeless was instead being given to these what they call service providers for the homeless. And the thing is, we don't need a dozen or two of those agencies soaking up all the homeless money. That's where it's all going. To these people who claim that they're in business to help out the homeless, when in fact they're in business to help themselves out. And they give themselves $100,000 salaries, and salaries where it could buy a friggin' house for somebody, or fund an apartment for a year or two or three or five with that kind of money. So listen, folks. Literally, if there's all of this money that's available and more, they're just not telling you about the more. There's more, okay? What they're doing is they're gaslighting everybody. They're making you believe things that are not true, like the triage they were going to do. They paid some outfit $10,000 to go around and collect all the names of all the homeless people and what their thing is. Why are they homeless? What do they do? Drugs, drink, whatever. That kind of thing, and then begin to select individuals, the better ones first, and then the most likely that need the most help last, because that's the way they want it. Those kind of people. They would rather stay there and do drugs and drink and just steal shit all through the nights and days. They even got us for a couple of items, my wagon and some other things. It's just unbelievable. And the cops don't come for burglaries and cars and stuff like that, but they will come if you get accused of harassing somebody for making noise. Yeah, they come for that. And they come with 4 or 5 squad cars for me. The video is on YouTube where they came because Par Lumber Company said that we made noise. Or that we harassed somebody, when in fact they were harassing us, and we had the video to prove it, and they didn't and they didn't believe a word they said because we had the video showing that they harassed us. In any event, this homeless thing is just a scam on the people of Portland and everybody else. We're talking about a business that has become a business over the years. It's become a multi-million-dollar industry. And all across the country, there are billions of dollars involved in trying to help the homeless out, when really all they're doing is pouring money down into a bottomless pit because it's being used by these organizations. And I urge everybody who wants to know the truth to find out who these agencies are that get the homeless money. Service agencies, they call themselves. You know who they are. They're all over the place. Northwest Pilot Project, Join, uh, all those agencies that claim they have housing when they don't. They have a housing list, okay, and they have some funding, but most of the funding they have, they're using it on themselves. So I urge everybody to download an app called GuideStar. GuideStar is an application that was designed so that you can look up any nonprofit organization in the United States and see where their money is going. What they have on there is their tax returns, their nonprofit reports to the government, where the money came from, where the money was spent. You will quickly see where the money came from and where the money went. I did this in San Diego, and we busted a guy who was listed as an advocate for the disabled, and his job was to go around the city making sure disability access was available. But in fact, the guy was a shyster. He was a fraud. He didn't help. He didn't do anything for anybody. He just used that title to get money. And he would put on shows and so forth and so on to get money, saying that he was a homeless or a disability provider, when in fact he was not. So these are the kinds of scams that are going on. There is no reason on God's earth with the money that's available to the city of Portland for me, because I'm a dependent male, senior citizen, dependent. My son, I lay on my back all day long in this car, every day, all day long, okay? And I'd rather be in a home somewhere. But their idea of me being in a home is to put me in an institution, one run by the county, so they can collect all the money. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to collect money off of my medical, because that's where the money came from when I was in the adult foster care they forced me into, and then thought that I was a prisoner there and that I couldn't leave when I wanted to. Yeah, they kept me prisoner there and abused me. Of course, the story's on YouTube anyways. But the thing is, that's what they want to offer me to go back to. And I say, no, I want an apartment, a disability accessible apartment of my own, where my son can take care of me there. And you can pay him for taking care of me and get him off Social Security, okay? Because that's something that he can do, okay? He can work with me, but he has difficulty working in working environments. It's too stressful for him. And it has to do with, well, I'm not at liberty to say what the reason is. You can just about guess. And anyway, so here's the thing. My case against the city of Portland is going through the court right now. It's I filed it on 7. It got filed on 7/3. I wrote it out in March, and it's now the attorney is doing discovery right now. And what he discovered is very, very encouraging, he tells me, because they don't have any defense for taking my car. They have nothing, not anything. They have no complaint. They have no complainant. There is nothing written about it. There's no receipt for all the hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of property they took besides the car. They didn't give me a receipt for the car or the car's title or the keys, or the thousands of dollars worth of property that was in there. We had like 5 Canon cameras. One of them was the Rebel, and the other one was another really nice one. Take pictures of the moon up close. And all of our other equipment that they took. You know, they just took all this equipment from us. Well, that's videos on there too. I don't need to rehash that. And then the other update is the assault on us, where the police department here in Portland, Oregon, will not press charges on the man who assaulted us in the middle of the night. He committed a Measure 11 hate crime on two disabled people. Okay, and he called us homeless motherfuckers like that. Okay, and they're refusing to press charges on him. Okay, for these two assaults, and they're using a situation that happened in a gas station where my son was forced to defend me against a woman who had a truncheon, and she was holding it over my head and going to strike me with it. Okay, so when the cops come, they arrested my son for grabbing the truncheon and taking it behind her back and taking it so she couldn't hit me with it. He didn't take it away from her. He just took it and put it behind her back over the top of her head. Didn't hit her or anything. So they're trying to say that he did hit her when in fact he did not. And so they're trying to use that case as leverage for the other case, the other two, the one where the deputy sheriff assaulted us and the one where the gas station thing happened. And rightfully, when the cops arrived, they should have taken the woman in custody and arrested her and taken her stick into custody as evidence. That they didn't do that. It was okay that she was going to hit me with a big-ass stick because I was talking. And when she went to court, the dumb woman, she said this to the judge. Well, I did that because I was trying to defend myself from a verbal assault. Got out of the safety of her car, where she could lock herself in, and this disabled old man who lives in a wheelchair can hardly lift up a tin can of food, okay, or open up a package of crackers, yeah, where she could be safe from me. Yeah. Now, listen to this crap. So she felt threatened by an old man in a wheelchair, okay? An old man, that's what her rap was. Now, Judge Joe Brown, he'll tell you, no, you left the safety and security of your vehicle to go confront somebody. Why would you do that? You know, so I don't believe anything you're saying because you did that. And that's the attitude they were supposed to have with this woman, and they didn't. So the latest video that you saw, which was the one where the cop, okay, this cop, we call him the crackhead beanie cop. He was the one that was responsible for lying or colluding, we don't know which yet, with Detective Brown to take our vehicle and leave us with nothing on the street. Yeah, left me with nothing on the street in the freezing weather. That's how outrageous these people are. They didn't give a shit about me at all. I could have froze to death. And they didn't care. They took everything, food, blankets, you name it. And that's the case we got. And Parr Lumber Company was instrumental in having the vehicle taken by calling up the cops all the time and making complaints where we were parked at. Okay? We didn't bother anybody. Everybody was bothering us because they didn't want us there. That's too bad. I got to live somewhere. And they wouldn't want their grandfather or their father have this happen to them. You know, that's the thing about this whole fucking thing. You know? They're full of shit when they say they can't help anybody. They don't want to. They want to play games with that money. $159 million is a lot of money for the city of Portland. And not only that, but they have more. They're just not telling you about the more. And I'm repeating myself. So, folks, this has got to stop where they're doing this to old folks. There's laws in the state of Oregon that do not permit them to put an old man out on the street, okay, that can't take care of himself. And what they're saying, and I'm telling them like this, in my own home, my son goes around and fixes everything in the house so that it's accessible to me in my wheelchair. He puts everything down low. so that I can, even the stove, everything, canned goods, everything, were all put down low in cabinets around me in a circle, kind of like. And I lived inside the circle, and I could do anything I wanted. I can go to the bathroom even. I didn't need him to help me, just maybe to assist with getting up out of my wheelchair and so forth and so on. But literally, I can exist by myself given the right circumstances. And their efforts are that they want the money. They don't care about me. They want the money. The money that they get from the state to spend on a place for me. $8,000. Come on, folks. I can do better than that. It won't cost $8,000 to put me in some friggin' home where they're going to physically abuse me and steal my property. No, 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 no. I can live in a home, in a house, an apartment. Yeah, if it's accessible, disability accessible, and the law says I have a right to independent living if I'm capable of it. And I am capable of it. Where they get this idea that I'm not is because the hospital, when I went to the hospital, they wouldn't let me do anything. They wouldn't let me go to the bathroom by myself. They wouldn't let me get up out of a chair by myself. Everything they did for me, and I didn't need them to do everything for me. So as a matter of record, because they were doing all this stuff for me, they put that down on paperwork as that's what I need. No, that's not what I needed. That's what they gave me. They wouldn't let me go around on my own in a wheelchair. They strapped me down into a gurney, kind of like. It was like a Chase Lounge chair. And when they got me out of there, the guy whose foster care home I was going into was under the impression that he was going to change diapers, wipe my ass, and do all this other stuff, feed me and blah, blah, blah. And he was surprised that none of that shit was true. I mean, I do have problems with taking care of myself, but only to a degree where, given the right circumstances, having someone to come over and help me do things once a day or whatever, would be a great help to me, because literally I'm sitting here doing beadwork. I want to just show you, just so you know. See this right here? See? Okay. I'm making a nice fat necklace out of these. I just got finished doing all these, putting them together. Okay? This is going to be a bunch of beads around somebody's neck. I just have to finish them up. Okay? But literally, this is what I'm doing. It's not like I'm sitting around doing nothing all day because I want to. Hell no. I'm doing shit, okay? And it's because I want to. I don't want to just sit around, like these drug addicts do all day and just lollygag around and be worthless and not try to accomplish anything. No, 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 no. That is not me. Okay? So, folks, look. Don't be fooled by all of this. The homeless crap. These people have the money. They have $159 million. If they gave that money to some builders to build some housing, and there could be like group homes for people who want to be in a group home setting. There could be like multiple floors for the elderly or the disabled without the elderly or disabled people involved so much in your lives. When you get them involved in your lives, they just want to do all this shit that the government gave them money to do, whether you need it or not. They want to do it because they can and they will, and it's money for them. So, of course, they're going to say there's a whole lot wrong with somebody rather than what really is, or a whole lot right, depending on how they want to treat it. Okay? Anyway, I'm done with this update, folks. I'm just giving you an update, but I want to just tell you, this wet and cold here in Portland, Oregon, and living in this car, it is the pits. It really is, and I'm suffering tremendously from it. But it's something I told my son just today. I said, Norman, you just really need to accept your lot. This is the way things are. And until something can be done about it, you just have to accept it. because collectively we don't have enough income to rent a place, okay? And um, there are places available to rent. They're just full of crap. They'd rather take the homeless funds and spend it on frivolous crap rather than, like the city has a whole bunch of providers that they wrap their arms around and kiss and hug and tell them how nice they are and how beautiful they are. All of these providers, and then they give them, $500,000 for the homeless. Yeah. All in line. The last people to get this money for the homeless is the homeless. Everybody else got their thumb down in that pie first, down in it, before the homeless eat. And what the homeless gets is the leftovers. No housing. They have $159 million, and here I am sitting in a car on a highway, a sick old man with diabetes even. Anyway, folks, I'm done. Thanks for listening. I guess my GoFundMe page is not doing anything at all. I don't get any coverage, so, there's not very many people that know that I have a GoFundMe page. And it's just simply under Norman Wicks Sr. And I don't know if there's anything in it. Last time I looked, there was not a thing in it. And there's not a thing in a whole bunch of other people's accounts either. Okay? Because people just aren't giving as healthily as they used to. And there are people that have been lifted up through the GoFundMe thing. And I'm glad for them, at least, really, really special people that really needed the help, and I'm glad they got it, for funerals and, stuff like that, kids' health. And anyway, you folks have a nice, I'm glad the new year is starting out the way it is. McCarthy is going to work. I don't do politics, but I see what's going on. I know what's happening. And I'm not a Republican or a conservative or a liberal, Democrat or anything. I'm just me, just observing all the stuff that's going on. And I don't hardly ever vote, so I'm not vested in any of this. Okay, the reason why I don't vote is because what's the sense in voting for one thief or the other? I mean, Trump was probably the best president that I've seen in a long, long time. I didn't vote for him. I would have, maybe, I don't know, if I decided to vote ever. My son votes. So anyway, you folks have a nice year this year. I'm going to sign out right now. Okay, thank you.